What if your cat has been waiting their entire life for something, and you never noticed? Most people think they understand their cat, but there are a few small things that quietly matter more than anything else. And the worst part? You've had the chance to do them every single day, and missed it. These aren't big, complicated things. There's no special training, no expensive tools, nothing you need to learn for months. That's what makes it so easy to miss. Because when something feels small, it doesn't feel important. But to a cat, these small moments are everything. And when they keep happening the wrong way day after day, your cat starts to adjust. Not in a way you can easily see, but in a way you can definitely feel. They stop coming as close, they hesitate a little longer, they choose distance more often than connection. Not because they don't care about you, but because they've learned that getting close doesn't always feel right. And the hardest part is, this doesn't happen all at once. It's slow, quiet, almost invisible. Until one day the bond you thought was strong feels a little weaker, and you don't even know why. Ever seen a cat jump onto the highest spot in the room and immediately get pulled down? Most people think that's bad behavior. It's not. That's instinct doing exactly what it's supposed to do. From a cat's perspective, height isn't just a preference, it's safety. The higher the position, the more control there is over the environment. Nothing sneaks up from behind, every movement in the room is visible, every sound makes sense. Take that away and the world starts to feel unpredictable. And when a space feels unpredictable, it doesn't feel safe. That's why, in homes where there's no high place to claim, cats don't stay out in the open, they disappear. Under beds, behind couches, low hidden corners. Not because they enjoy hiding, but because it's the only way to create a sense of security when elevation isn't an option. Give a cat a high place though, and everything changes. A shelf, a tall perch near a window, even the top of a quiet cabinet with something soft on it. Suddenly, there's less hiding, more watching, more presence. Because when a cat can sit above the room and simply observe, that's when the space finally starts to feel like it belongs to them too. Reaching out to pet a cat whenever it feels right seems harmless. Most people don't even think about it. But from a cat's perspective, every touch means something. And when that touch comes without warning, without invitation, it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels intrusive. That small flinch, the slight head turn, the quiet step away, those aren't random reactions. That's communication. And when it keeps getting ignored, something starts to shift. Trust isn't something dramatic that appears or disappears overnight. It's built in tiny moments, and it's also reduced the same way, a little at a time. When contact happens on human terms only, the balance slowly tips. But when that pattern changes, everything changes with it. When a cat is allowed to decide when contact happens, the interaction feels completely different. The head nudge, the slow approach, the tail held upright as they walk closer, those are invitations. And when those invitations are respected instead of replaced, the response becomes stronger, more frequent, more genuine. The hardest part is doing less, letting a cat walk past without reaching down, sitting still instead of initiating. It feels unnatural at first, but that pause creates space. And in that space, a cat starts choosing to come closer, not because they have to, but because now it finally feels right. Most of the time, humans stay above, walking around, standing tall, moving quickly from one place to another. From a cat's point of view, that constant height creates distance. A large figure that moves unpredictably, makes noise and towers over everything in the room, doesn't always feel safe to approach. Not dangerous, but not fully comfortable either. And that's where something simple changes everything. Lowering down to their level. Sitting on the floor, a few feet away, without reaching, without calling, without trying to control the moment. Just being there, at the same height, in the same space. It doesn't look like much, but the signal it sends is completely different. Less pressure, less unpredictability, more neutrality. And cats understand that immediately. Some will glance over and relax again. Some will slowly shift closer. Others might take their time, watching first before deciding, but the tension drops, because for once, the size difference isn't dominating the interaction. Especially for shy or cautious cats, this changes the entire dynamic.
trust doesn't always come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from removing what feels overwhelming. And height is one of those things. Most people skip this step without even thinking about it. A hand reaches out, goes straight for the head, maybe a quick stroke down the back, and then it's over. Simple. Routine. But from a cat's perspective, something important just got skipped. Scent is how the world is understood. It's how identities are confirmed, how intentions are read, how safety is decided in a matter of seconds. When that moment is ignored and touch comes first, it feels incomplete, like a greeting that never happened. The difference is almost invisible, but it changes everything. A pause, just a second or two. A hand offered, not placed, waiting instead of assuming. That small shift gives control back to the cat. If they lean in, make contact, brush against your hand, that's acceptance. If they turn away, that's an answer too. Nothing forced, nothing rushed. And when this becomes the pattern, something subtle but powerful happens. Less hesitation, less tension, more willingness to stay, to engage, to come back again. Because now, every interaction begins the same way it naturally should, with acknowledgement, not interruption. Ever notice how a cat shows up at the same place at the same time every single day without anyone telling them? That's not random, that's pattern. Cats don't rely on clocks the way humans do. They rely on consistency, repeated moments that form a structure they can understand. Feeding time, playtime, the sound of footsteps at the door, even the way the house settles at night. All of it becomes part of a map. And that map is what makes the environment feel stable. When that pattern stays consistent, everything feels predictable, and predictable feels safe. But when those moments start shifting, even slightly, something begins to feel off. Meals come later than expected. Play disappears for a few days. Schedules change without warning. To a human, that's just life. To a cat, it's a pattern breaking. And when the pattern breaks, the sense of control goes with it. That's when restlessness shows up, more alertness, less relaxation. Not because anything is obviously wrong, but because nothing feels certain anymore. The solution isn't perfection, it's consistency where it matters. Feeding around the same time, creating small, repeatable moments that don't disappear. Because when a cat knows what's coming next, the need to stay on guard slowly fades. And in that space, something else finally has room to exist. Comfort. Most people don't realize this, but cats aren't silent by nature when it comes to humans. That sound they make, the meow, it isn't really for other cats. It's been shaped over time for one purpose: communication with you. Every tone, every variation, every small sound is part of something that was built to get your attention. And it works. You hear it immediately. But here's what often gets missed: the response. Those moments when a cat looks up, makes a sound, and nothing comes back. No words, no acknowledgement, just silence. It may not seem like much, but over time, that silence creates distance. Because communication isn't one-sided. It never has been. Talking back doesn't require anything complicated. No special phrases, no perfect tone, just presence. A voice directed at them, a simple response when they make a sound. Saying something when you walk into the room, when you pass by, when they're already watching you. It turns random moments into interaction, and interaction into connection. Because they are listening, not just to the sounds, but to the pattern of being included. And when that pattern becomes consistent, something changes. The space doesn't feel quiet anymore. It feels shared. None of these things are difficult. No special skills, no complicated steps. Just small moments that were always there, but easy to overlook. And that's the part most people never realize. It was never about doing more. It was about noticing more. Because from a cat's perspective, connection isn't built through big gestures. It's built through consistency, patience, and respect in the moments that seem insignificant. And when those moments start to change, the response is immediate. Less distance, more presence. A cat that doesn't just live in the same space, but actually chooses to be part of it. Not because it has to, but because now it finally feels right. And if this made you see your cat a little differently, stay a little longer. There's more you've probably been missing.